Hi friends, another one of my little quick videos. This one I want to use to highlight, this artist, I'm a big fan. I'm just noticing my hair is like, ooh, I was out tending to the brand new veggie starts and I'm a little frizzy. All right, never mind. Anyway, this is an artist that I came across this image and it captivated me so much. And I also follow, and now as a result of this image, actually, I follow this artist on Instagram. They're on Twitter as well. You can see down at the bottom, it's called @Revelatory is the name. So her name is Tori, the artist's name is Tori, and then her branding is @Revelatory. So if you want to check out her work. But here's what I wanted to talk about in just a quick little video is this image that I have up on the screen. This is a beautiful demonstration to what we call multi-generational transmission process, which is a long way to say we pass down, usually not intentionally, we tend to pass down certain things across the generations. So, and in this case, we see that there is a breaking of that cycle of passing things down. So I'm sure that you can see it, but just the way that I'm reading this particular comic strip, starting in the upper left-hand side, this has always been passed down in our family is what they're saying across the top. And it's generational trauma being passed down in a family. In this case, we have, let me highlight down here. This has always been, and we have the figure, who is presumably the parent, passing along, their unresolved traumas onto the next generation. And this is not willful. Like, very few people in the world want to be passing along any kind of negative stuff to their children. Most people are wanting to make the world better for the next generation. And by and large, we do that. Like, most of us, as we sit here today, can say we're doing better in our next, in our parenting, in our next generation. We're improving the process. We're breaking those chains of generational trauma or a multi-generational transmission process. It can go either way. We usually think of the negatives in psychology because we are looking at like what's not going right. Certainly, you have multi-generational transmission of very positive processes as well. Those aren't the ones that bring you into a counselor's office. So those aren't the ones that clinicians focus on, but for sure, it happens. So this has always been passed down. And so we have the first figure passing it along, and then you see that person in the next little snippet is now passing that on to their child. And then that child grows up in the bottom left-hand corner, and they're passing along generational trauma to their child. And then we see that child in now the fourth generation is not passing along to their kiddo. In fact, they're putting up an umbrella to stop that storm cloud of generational trauma. So I love this depiction. I've seen it in other ways depicted as like chain breaking. And that is something that, therapists will talk a lot about. People will talk about being a chain breaker for generational traumas, for addiction, for different, avoidant, even like an attachment thing, like an avoidant attachment style. Somebody can make a choice. What I find very encouraging about this concept is the main thing that stops the transmission is just being aware that you've got it. So know what you've got going on, and then that can help you not pass it along. So even without unpacking it or doing years of therapy, just understand I have a little inherited trauma that I got from, probably not cruel people, just people who are lacking the skills to stop that transmission from happening. And I can do something about it. And that puts you in agency, that puts you in power, that gets you correcting things. And then, once that gets corrected in a family, then that becomes the new legacy. Now we're not passing along. We can imagine the next slide on this would, or the next little imagery, or the next 2 or 3 generations out from even this little example, is improvement. The umbrella gets bigger, the people become stronger and more capable and have more agency, more flourishing. So I just love this visual. I will put a link to Tori's website and Instagram. And Tori, if you ever get a chance to see this, just want to thank you for this beautiful, beautiful art. Thanks. I'll see you guys on the next one.